Hello everyone and welcome back to a new Wano video, and today we're gonna do something a bit different as I joined the FOB 1v1 tournament, and today we're gonna analyze my whole first game. Played it live on stream on Thursday. If you want to see that, it is in the VOD, but today we're gonna analyze the whole process, picks and bans, and the replay, and then the stats at the end as well, deck building in the meantime, and so on. So to get you all through a process of what goes on in my mind, and maybe also just in general in the mind when you have to play a tournament, and maybe get you guys hyped up for playing up some tournaments yourself in the future, and just in general get some more intel on how to play Wano and what the thoughts process there might be. And in this first game here, I played against Skull. He got host in this. It's only a best of one in each round against 8 opponents, and he picked Izura after we banned a couple of maps here. I hate 2 lakes. Like, map ban was mostly me banning maps I'm not great at, or I hate. 2 lakes here, and then Stoneware. Mount River, I just felt like he might be more comfortable on it than me. I would be fine with it, but I felt like he might be more comfortable there. He picked Izura in the end, and then we got into division bans. And there, Izura is a relatively small map that is relatively heavily focused on directly crashing into each other. So I banned divisions that are pretty good at that. Second Guards, Second Panzer Grenadier, and 79. Pretty obvious bans here. In this tournament, you get first 4 bans, then the enemy gets 6 bans, then 4 more bans, and then you have a blind pick. So no counter picking here. And yeah, I also banned 101st because that can take control over the middle quite quickly. And then divisions with good artillery and good tanks, 4th E and 2nd Panzer Grenadier here with M110s, and Brunette here on the other side kind of doing the same. Skull banning a bit more against me. Mnet, a division that I played a lot. 16th Belgian, a division that I played a lot. And Lufthansa, that a division that I didn't actually play that much, but that I actually had a couple of meme videos on my channel at least. So, and then 4E and 5th Blinde. 4E can be pretty annoying with the opener. 5th Blinde AMX-30s are pretty decent on the map as well, so those make sense as well. That meant that we then moved into deck building, or deck tinkering. Obviously I had a deck ready. CLK was the plan for that matchup from the start. And yeah, the deck here, I didn't really change much. My game plan was to have Leo 2s on the flanks, winning fights. We will get into that in a second. And then have a good amount of infantry here pushing through the center and the flanks as well. Knowing that his 35th has a lot of recoilless rifles, and yeah, getting decent recon, maybe opening up with helicopters, and yeah, having OHs around to stop his helicopters, which are relatively cost efficient early on as well. So yeah, this was the deck idea. Let's now move on into the fight itself. And here we start with the deployments. This was my deployment here on the left side versus Skull's deployment here on the right. And my idea was to, first of all, grab territory relatively quickly. So I brought 2 CVs. One is a military police leader here, and the other one is a Leopard 1 that was supposed to go through the center. My initial game plan was to win the flank over here and be able to intercept the enemy through this line here, while playing more defensive on the side, but keeping up an opening to potentially push through the forest as well. As something that I have seen in a lot of games, especially on this side, because this is the side that is a bit weaker in the grind in the middle. The enemy has a lot of town to fall back into here, and has a pretty deep forest as well if you just go for the direct grind, whilst our forest is a bit lighter. Plus they have this good position that can fire into our tree line over here, and also a bit into the road here, though usually you are fast enough that an ATGM can't hit you in time. But yeah, this all is a bit annoying for grinding through the middle. As our side, you usually have to be playing a bit better over the flanks and a bit more. So that was the plan here. 1 ITO for the flank on the right side. Good couple of infantry units here trying to get into the buildings so that we can push through there, but still obviously wanting to hold on to this part of the map. So we still have some Bacanners M113s going around to the flanks, and then normal infantry here and special forces infantry moving into the center to stop any infantry that pushes into us right there. But on the other side, Skull here moved around with some M60s for the south. Didn't want it to get moved past here in the far south, so moved the CV down there as well. And then some decent forces here towards the center. A lot of infantry there, including a lot of 50 cal MG teams, and one more M60 here to be able to duel our Leo 1s if they, or our Centurions if they come up in numbers. So that was the opening here. Minigun helicopter, pretty helpful to figuring out the opening deployment, making sure that the enemy is not getting into this faster and isn't able to ambush any of our infantry units here moving around, OHs to stop any dive bombers that could come around early, or especially any helicopter openers. So yeah, we go with all three of them, so that because they're relatively affordable and they can work quite nice together. Well, it's the commandos and reservist genius here ready to get the push through the town. Ito getting into a good spot here too. And yeah, in the center, I wanted to keep the enemy at bay and then use artillery to bombard them non-stop afterwards. Centurions here getting into a decent position defensively as well, setting up a position that maybe can push on a bit. Something that I should have done is maybe put a second one here on the flank, or like put up a bit more on this flank here from the get-go, and slightly less into the middle at the beginning of the game. Minigun finds some recon units here. Goes after the truck for now. M113 does spot enemy units as well. Enemy does push back here. M60 we have to disengage, so moving out of there. Minigun can't stay under 50 cal fire here, so has to disengage out of the area as well. It's the enemy scout team here holds the flank pretty cheaply. 13 moving around in the north. Commandos are where they need to be, and here the enemy has set up heavily into center here with a lot of 50 cals, a lot of dragon units here, and good couple of M13s. Ito starts shooting at our Centurion. Centurion has to move out of the way, smokes off, moves away, and our infantry fight down here does start, but yeah, as I said, the fire support here not quite as numerous as it should have been. No units back here in these tree lines assisting our infantry here up front. Scout Dragon goes around, kills a truck. That's not the end of the world, but the M60s and the M113 ACAVs here stopping any movement here from us right now. Well, Leopard 1 does come in now. We start with an M110. That was the game plan from the get-go, realizing the enemy has a 50 cal here in this building. So let's get around, trying to kill the first unit here immediately. Really trying to get the artillery grind onward. As the front lines are relatively close on this map, you often will be able to spot enemy units. Yeah, first shot here landing off target. That's a bit unfortunate, but the second one does land on target and gets the job done anyways. So M110s here, first salvo, pretty successful. M113s and M60s here pushing our infantry back, so we have to get behind the buildings. First gen here being routed, and yeah, bit of a mistake here, slightly sloppy play with our leader staying outside of the zone, jumping into the building, but we fixed that now. And the Leo 1 leader here now will go into the middle, capturing that. Ito's on the flank. This was a good choice, being able to keep the enemy away here as well. And now M110 fired on where we saw the infantry the last time. That's not where they are anymore. I really invested heavily into the two M110s because I realized a lot of enemy units here blocking our road. We're not gonna easily push into that with our divisions here early on. So we might as well try to get ahead in the trades by just bombing the living hell out of the enemy positions here. Enemy brought a helicopter around. We unfortunately failed to hit it with our OH and immediately got hit by the Stinger ourselves. So yeah, the Cobra being alive still really annoying. Should have flown in from a slightly further south angle, as I didn't see any manpads over here, and I knew that somewhere here there had to be one, but yeah, the Stinger was just close enough, and just getting the shot off there and immediately getting a hit. Bit unfortunate for us, as our second missile did miss, but that's the game. So yeah, both M110s here now, targeting enemy positions. This one here, hitting where I believed the I saw the ITO firing from. Making a bit of a mistake there, bit of sloppy play by hitting buildings that I wasn't quite sure if they had units or not. Commando and infantry here doing a good job moving around the buildings, so that the enemy they could get away with kills and didn't get finished off. Enemy 50 cal here does still get hit by the side here. ITO gets around to deal damage to the M60. M60 has to smoke off, so that's decent as well, but a decent amount of firepower here still on the enemy side. These Cav Scouts getting stand down. And yeah, now aiming for the Stinger that shot at my minigun helicopter a second earlier. ATGM's doing a good job here. BO-105 brought around, as I knew the Stingers were further away, so the cheap little AT helicopter could move around and try help out with the M113 spam that the National Guard has. Like, the National Guard has so much spam that grinding through them directly is pretty tough. That's why I wanted to flank them a bit. But yeah, enemy did play well here. Skull did play well in the early game and pushed me out of it. F111 cluster here, moving in now to deal with our units in the center. We did not have iHawks out just yet. Bofors and 2 iHawks I just bought before I even saw the cluster, but yeah, not the end of the world, losing a Centurion there. Centurion, relatively replaceable. Phantom Jet, not getting a kill, and yeah, we saw the iHawk fire on the other side, so tried to get that one killed, but Skull also reacting there and moved it out of the way. One M113 would be enough, so the second one was aiming for the mortar in the hope that it would not be a self-propelled mortar, or that it would not move away immediately. And yeah, it had a lot of smoke orders here. It was not moving away immediately, as the iHawk was under fire here. M113 under fire now by the M110 with some good hits. I would get the kill. First one not immediately great. Second one pretty bad as well, so would need a completely direct hit here to do something. Unfortunately, not getting that, and the enemy now is setting up the push here that you want to do on Izura when you have the right side, when you have the easier time in the center. Just go for the edge of the enemy zone and try to capture it there. And yeah, that push was now moving along. As I also obviously invested quite heavily into artillery, so my front line was a bit weaker. But yeah, I knew that, and yeah, once I saw the enemy defensive line, I knew I would have to play the long game here. M110s aiming for the M60 in the north. Good play here with the smoke and the fire support to CVs, making it pretty annoying to deal with the enemy here. Centurion disengaging away from the enemy here. Is a bit lucky that it doesn't get hit. Leo 1V trying to rotate around to deal with the M60 on its own. Enemy artillery now moving in as well. M109 only, so we don't have to worry as much as if it would have been M110s. Trying to get the M60 killed over here that I spotted thanks to my Vicanners. Getting the job done, so nice little kill on a recon tank. And yeah, M110s starting to really set up the kills here. National Guard Rifle Dragons holding the line against the command. The commandos holding the line against that. That's the engagements I want. Like enemy infantry pushing into our commandos. So I want to keep the commandos alive, rotating the damaged one out so they can replenish it. moving new reserve Genius in to hold the front line in front of the commandos. That's the enemy now moving in with a CV here to try to get the tick online. M110s now aiming towards the center here to assist in this whole fight, trying to get rid of enemy units. Knowing that the enemy has Eyehawks, I knew I couldn't just bomb this, so yeah, the two M110s were the fire support of choice whilst bringing in a bit more reinforcements. What I should have done at the same time is try to get the south back under control. I have a Leo 2 here now, and it is not doing anything. And obviously investing into a Leo 2 at this point and having it not doing anything is terrible. This YPR, YP, for example, should have pushed a bit further. Infantry, the resupply truck should have been here for resupplying the infantry, and then I should have pushed in the south a bit earlier there, trying to get back into this, setting up an Eyehawk or so in there, an ITO in there. And yeah, at the same time, M110s here doing their job in the center, going after the Eyehawk now, because I saw it once more, and this time around it wasn't moving. So yeah, got this done there. Enemy tried to get back into the truck, but failed to do so. So I get the ITO. M110 in the center here, dealing decent damage as well. Commandos doing their job, pushing back the engineers, but supply trucks here well placed by Skull to kill, repair all the units that get potentially killed. And Commando here moved forward, got it under a lot of fire support from a lot of support units. Got a double kill, but I lose a commando squad. Not really worth it. Double kill on support vehicles. That's the enemy here, pushing up with dragons in the south. Genia there, trying to get over the open field, got fired upon by all the fire support units as well. Centurions and Leo 2A4s now trying to do their best, helping out against this. 50 cal on the fire as the infantry and commandos moving forward again. The M110s are reloaded, so they can assist here once more, going after an enemy M60, as the enemy had parked a lot of them in the middle. And yeah, I stayed on the corner of the zone. Enemy F111 cluster trying to get a kill here. Gets the M113 at least. F16 CAT did try to get a kill on the Leo 2A4, but the Eyehawks pushing them back. No, not getting any kill, but at the same time I get an M60 in the center. So it's not the end of the world there either. Leo 2A4 now moved away a bit further. Needs some assistance. Currently point situation still okay, but enemy obviously a lot closer than I am to getting a tick. As the M110's currently reloading, re-aiming, and yeah, Skull setting up more push here. A lot of units here being stuck on top of each other, and my Faganners here doing a fantastic job, like absolutely key unit. At the same time, I now considered trying to push into the north. Nantres just trying to figure out what is going on there. I realized that the enemy actually has enough infantry there. 35th, obviously, a really cheap division, can afford units everywhere across the map relatively efficiently, and did that just there, which is a bit annoying for me. I get a supply truck at least, and one of the CVs there going low and goes down as well, so the M110s keep on paying off here, and I have a Leo 2 now in the middle as well. Plan of that Leo 2 was to just get close enough to the M60s to deal quickly with them. Get stuck here on some of the National Guard M67 infantry, all these M67 infantry units here. Yeah, pretty annoying for our lighter vehicles. The YPs going down immediately, but they were just there for figuring things out. Allowed me to kill another of the CVs, and with the CVs slowly dying, my infantry then could do a bit more against the enemy, though still had to be careful. Rise does go down here now as well to the infantry's Carl Gustav, as we have a Phantom trying to figure out where enemy ITOs are and deal with the gunships here in the north. Does get the kill on the gunship. And M110s here now going for the counter battery. M109 here on the other side is the victim, and it is currently not moving. So, like, yeah, you should not get too much into counter batterying, especially if you know that the enemy likely has mobile howitzers. But when the first time we see enemy shooting twice from the same position, and that's what I saw here, and you realize they got a bit sloppy, they didn't move their guns, then you can try it. If you don't get the kill there, then you should not try it again, because the enemy will be alert afterwards, but often you can, with the first salvo, try to get away with it, and we did get away with it. We get the M19 kill here. Big advantage for us now in the artillery department. Issue right now is the +2 in the middle. And yeah, the ITO position here is nasty. Goes after my YPR here that is on the way, and the YPR was on an attack order, tried to attack the right instead of breaking line of sight, which it could have done 1 second later. Enemy F-16 here. We stopped that from getting through, but it does once more get out alive, which is quite annoying. F-16 firing 2 AIM-9Ls and missing with both. Quite unfortunate, but yeah, the artillery does keep on the grind in the center. Biggest issue right now is that I don't achieve anything on the flanks, and I am a bit indecisive. Like, I invest into the north with commandos, I invest into the south with some forces. I am the division with the better combined arms, like the higher level combined arms. I'm lucky there that my Leo does not get hit by this, as my Hawks were out of ammo there for the second. And I should not have split up my focus on the flanks as much. I should have invested a bit into the north to keep him occupied, but these commandos should not have gone north, or more of the southern forces should have gone north at the same time. There is a valuable target here with the +2 in the north, but I should have invested the commandos likely into the south when I already invested to the Leo 2 into the south, or should have bought a couple more vehicles for the north as assistance. And I did not do that. I just went with infantry. Get the ITO kill here. A bit of overkill using both guns for it. One gun likely would have been enough, though I wanted to make sure that that is dead. But Leo 2's set up into this in the center, so I didn't want to get them killed by strong ATGMs. Leo 2 getting away with some nice shots. Leo 1 moving in here and trying to get the capture back to stop the enemy take. We didn't want that to go up too far here, as artillery re-aiming on enemy supply trucks. These are relatively big supply trucks, so killing them off can be nice, though it already used half of its supply there with all the units around it being so juiced up. But yeah, will be a solid kill here. Decent dodge against the enemy cluster, and we did get the kill with enough AA. You want to have enough AA to kill enemy bombers. You don't just want to damage them, you want to have enough to kill them. So we invested a decent amount here into AA now, having all IHawks and 2 fighters out, controlling the sky. And yeah, dodging this completely. Leo 2s did move away fast enough. That's the great thing about Leo 2s on the open field. That's why you also kind of don't want to have them in forest, because in forests they are slowed down so that cluster bombers can kill them. And in the open field they can dodge the high altitude cluster bombers quite easily. Getting the 50 cal killed over here as well. One of the supply trucks did go down the center. Leo 2 does get a kill there. All of that is pretty nice, as we have a BO 105 moving around. Another mistake that I did, though, was splitting up my Leo 2s. Like, I've talked about that a good couple times in the past. Leo 2s are best used in groups because they are pretty micro-intensive tanks. They have weak side armor, and they are pretty costly, so you want to use them all the time, and you can't micro on them on 3 different parts of the map. So you only having 4 in my deck, I either want to have them in 2 pairs around, or even as a big group of 3 or 4 at one spot. Then they're also having the killing power to really finish off an M60 immediately, and I split them up a bit too much. My M110s here still doing good for me. So, and yeah, I got the AT plane there killed off as well, so saving the lives of my Leos a bit, but I did not have enough infantry because I invested into all of the support equipment to hold on against the enemy in the middle there for that moment. Leo 1V unfortunately went down here in the south at the same time as well, and the enemy does get my BO here, but M110 still doing good for me. Like, the M110 still doing great kills for me. Enemy brings another M109 around. This time around is moving it, so I'm not gonna try to counter battery it this time around, as I know I'm likely not gonna get it. They won't fall for this twice, as yeah, I over-invested maybe a bit too much into the fighters. Got all 4 out there. Should have gotten more infantry at that point for the center here. Whilst Skull is playing the way that you need to play here to have a chance with 35th in this matchup. like having annoying amounts of units on the flanks whilst bringing around enough forces for the center. And yeah, holding the flanks here with just pure infantry, commandos overextending by me, should have had more of an eye on this engagement. Now trying to disengage. I mean, he has a lot of fire support there. More tense. Now aiming for the north here, trying to get a kill. But I already lost one of the commando units there. Should not have happened. I should not have pushed in and then looked away, and I did that. Yeah, you should keep an eye on where you're actually pushing. And more tense now, at least will get around and get some nice kills, but I could have done this and now pushed up with healthy commandos. Or like relatively healthy commandos. I got all 3 killed there. Could have done that way earlier, way easier. Now the enemy brings a Cobra around, so that's a good move there by Skull. I have a Bofors in the rear, but it's a bit too far away to immediately help out. Needs to move around, and it's not great at that. And now I move the commandos here on the side, and that's really the issue. Like, I move units here and move units here. I'm not focused on either of them, as I'm also still busy in the center. And yeah, having my Leo 2s standing around doing nothing, and that's just something that you can't afford with Leo 2s. F-16 here in trouble, will go down. So trading a BO-105 for F-16 is great, but at the same time I lose the commando in the north. Cobra is getting my chasseurs as well, as I just don't have enough focus up there at the same time. And more tense, getting around, doing more of a good job, getting kills against the scouts, and finishing off another M60. I lose the Leo CV in the center, doing a bit of a miss micro there. Leo 2 A4 under artillery fire here too, gets stand down and goes low on hit points, smokes off a bit too late, and artillery does finish it, as yeah, that Leo 2 was left out a bit too easily. Next Leo 2 A4 here, trying to get around, getting some damage, but as you can see, my Leos are not moving consecutively, not moving at the same time in there to get kill. Like, this Leo should have assisted in the center, this Leo should have insisted at the same time. Easier it would have been if I would have just had 2 Leos here, then the direct fight against the M60 would have been pretty easy. We get another M60 Rise killed off here by the Ito. Artillery does good damage. Next M60 does fall, so we're taking out a good couple of them. Enemy does stay on the +2 in the center here though. And my flanking moves haven't worked out yet because I'm not precise enough with them. Like, Leo 2s either all around here to grind against the M60. Better yet, I should have used all 4 Leo 2s in the south. Centurions could have done this job here at the same time. Most likely nearly as well with commandos, and especially the M110's fire support. Like, that was the most efficient there. And then Leo 2s could have overwhelmed the enemy TOW 2 units here together with some recon vehicles and the M60s easily. And instead, yeah, my Leo 2s were not all in sync at all. F111 cluster moving around, obviously that's a dangerous unit, but yeah, get the kill this time around. And I could have, I dodged them before, like I could have dodged them with a couple of Leo 2s previously as well. Leo 2 down here does, and Leo 1 do a good job. Ito in a decent spot as well. Getting to fire on another M60, does get another kill against another M60. The center here is still an issue, but yeah, my win condition is the flanks anyways, so I should have set up all of this a bit better. Centurions now moving towards the center. M110s here doing a decent job, firing onto the enemy. Leo 2A4B does get hit, and yeah, the enemies, what the enemy did misplay here for sure is the counterplay against the M110s. Like, they should have known about it and moved their units a bit too easily. Like, my targeting for the M110s is done quite easily. Like, these infantry units are not jumping between buildings often enough, and especially the tanks and the vehicles here. Like, you should have known that I had a recon unit here, and Skull should have moved around a bit more against that. My Centurions here getting good shots out, but not the kill, and the CV being back there At the same time, my southern push here not really working out. Bofors there going down as well, as everything has been pushed back. Layer 2's relatively low and currently not getting repaired. In need of some repairs as well. F-16 AA diving deep, getting a hit, but not finding the kill. Phantom going deeper, get a kill here, and we get the F-16 AT in the end. So now all the enemy AT planes are gone. And we also now bring out our own bombers, because I realized there's not actually that much AA here. So I can use my F5s. They are not coordinated that well. First one here, just chopping on some infantry. Cluster bombers going after units in this forest, but did miss micro there as well. Will get a kill against an M60 era though. And yeah, my units afterwards will get out of there. One Phantom though does get shut down in the north. And by now I'm running a bit low on supply, as I only had 2 supply cards, and I used one of those cards on the M110s basically alone. And I also start to run low a bit on infantry, though I still have a decent amount there. And yeah, the Leo 2A4s all out on the battlefield. One already dead. Second one here currently stuck over here. The other 2 further south need to get out of there alive. And I don't have enough support for them here. Don't have enough recon to really figure out what the enemy is doing. Like, I should have a recon over here. Should have... I have recon down here, but nothing that was able to move up here, for example. And the Leo 2 did not move far enough back and gets killed by the Ito. That's a bit unfortunate. The line of sight there really narrow, and at max range from the Ito as well there gets the kill. And yeah, once more though, a bit of an issue of not microing my Leo 2A4s as a group and having them split up. Get back my CV in the middle though, and yeah, getting now some mortars out to try to smoke play a bit myself. I should have had a mortar a bit earlier, like a single mortar out there earlier. Now, yeah, I only have 2 Leo 2A4s going after the kill here against the National Guard units. Leo 2 now trying to push up a bit, checking also out if the enemy has any good fire support left here. Currently not the case. 50 cal on the fire here by this Leo. Gets the National Guard Rifle Dragons there finished off as well. Leo 1V under fire by Dragon Infantry. They have the Dragon 2, so they are relatively deadly. And at the same time now I move with infantry, but don't have the tanks to follow them up with. Like, once more, not a good push here in the south. And yeah, loses Centurion there to ATGMs. Leo 1 here, a bit stuck as well. And the Dragon 2 does get another shot. Smoke at least saves me there, as we have a lot more infantry moving around. Leo 2A4 under fire by the Ito. Has to disengage, does go down to 2 hit points and does get finished off by an M60. AG bomber run here once more, solid in the north, but not really finding an easy way to push in there, as Bofors and so on is all around. But I didn't invest enough into the north or the south to really get one of the flanks victorious. And with 35th being a division that just can't spam, that's the thing it can do. It cannot do super much beyond that, but it can spam combine arms around the battlefield. I should not have tried to just win by outmassing the flanks. I should have won by overwhelming a flank by just quality. By Leo 2s on one flank with consecutive units. The north likely the weaker side for that, because you have those big tree plops, but even there could have used tanks on the flank and around here, and then pushed with my higher quality infantry with the commandos through the forest as well. Or, as I said, like setting up something better here in the south. The line of sights are opening you up a bit for side shots, but that could have been something I could handle. I could have used the hawks here in the south as well. Like, really, I'm doing well on the grind part of things, but the issue is the enemy division is absolutely fine with grinding, and on this map the enemy just got away with 900 points because that's how the map works. Blue side is having the easier time of pushing you in the center and getting away with it, and our side has the better setup here for the flanks You can get into this quite nicely and then set up shop over here. You can move around through this and get easier to the enemy +2 zone than they can get to yours by pushing through the north here. Even this zone is, in my eyes, a bit easier to get into than this one. So this is how you need to play as the red side on this map. You need to play over the flanks. It's currently not in a ranked pool, so I hadn't played it in a while. I knew about it though, and I attempted it. I just didn't do it as well as I should have done. And now I'm just going for a Hail Mary, trying to push through the center, but I'm down to only one layer 2A4. I'm down on the flanks as well. M110s still doing great jobs here, grinding away against the enemy. But thing is, yeah, you just get so many units still. Like, even if you're down a lot of points, you still have a lot of units as 35th because your units are so dirt cheap. My units are not that expensive either, but they're just not as cheap. Toe 2 here, trying to go after our ITO. M110 still doing their job, firing away against enemy 50 cal positions. The M60s here are a problem, but they can't, like, the thing with the M60 is they don't have enough penetration to really be super scary for Leo 2. So we could have dealt with that in some regards there as well, but we just didn't do it well enough. And yeah, artillery here now, getting around. Doesn't get a kill this time around against the 50 cals, which is really unfortunate. And yeah, now smoke mortars. Try to set up something that I can get around into the north, but this is a bit of... I know that I'm now in need of getting points, so this is a bit of the final push here. I also made a mistake, which will get punished in a second by dropping all of these next to each other. You should micro a bit better with the setup there. The smoke does work out decently here. I set up some nice kills, I get into the +2 zone, but I'm a bit too far behind on just combined arms at this point by not having enough units around anymore, not having my quality units around anymore, but getting my Leo 2-4 killed. And not having my commandos around either anymore. Like my edge that I have as in this matchup of having the higher quality units has been bled away by now only having similar quality units, Leo 1s versus M60s, infantry versus his National Guard infantry, and not having really the amount of commandos or Leo 2s left to really do a difference. And really the Leo 2-4 micro in this match, or the lack of it, and the lack of using that big edge that I have with them in this matchup, was the biggest mistake. And I believe, looking into it from retrospect, and I realized that in the game as well, I likely should have used them more in the south. But yeah, I did not commit enough into this fight, and the northern push was a mistake, and the center fight was okay, but I should have just done it without the Leo 2s, and it would have gone nearly as well. Now my smoke mortars die. That's my last real hope here of achieving something with all the 50 cults and so on around in the middle. The M110s there, failing to get the kill against them is really unfortunate. Like that these two 50 cults, if they would have died here, I actually might have had a shot of getting my infantry in here. And that could have allowed me to really make this bloody awful for our enemy. As with infantry inside, the Rise can't push them, but now the infantry gets bled away by the 50 cal fire, and really good usage here of the supply truck. That's how you want to play infantry divisions like 35th. You always want to have supply trucks behind the infantry to immediately replenish them, especially with M67s, which you go through the ammunition so quickly with. And yeah, now the M60s can just rotate around. I couldn't just move in there, and now they can just fire away at me, get me killed, and I'm losing now my cohesion here as a force completely. Trying to get more units in here, desperately knowing that I need more than a +2 at this point. CV is getting towards the zone, but there are not enough units in front of it, so it just gets bled away here. Did neutralize the zone there for a second, but the enemy gets a CV in the same time in the north, and with that will get the victory here against me. As yeah, the last couple of seconds here just bleeding away, and the KD here will still be good in the end, or solid, even though I'm currently throwing units away. So we will have a look in the replay analyzer afterwards. Like, there was a moment for sure in this game where I was ahead decently well in trades, but I just couldn't use it. And that's one of the issues when you play against a division like 35th that can just throw a lot of stuff in your way. But yeah, even in the end, I was still ahead in kills. MR10s here doing fantastic. MR10s doing really fantastic. But the layer 2s didn't do enough. They still did some work, but this should have been 4 or 5 M60s, and yeah, this here should have had 1 or 2 more M60 kills or so as well. And that's really the issue here. One of them here only getting 1 M60 kill before dying. Like, this is not something that is allowed in this matchup. Especially not on this side of the map. If I would have gotten the other side of the map, my game plan would have been a lot easier. I could have just done the same that Skull was able to do here with the middle push. Like, is a bit unfair in how much more complicated you have to play, but it's not really that complicated. I just messed it up. And in the end, yeah, I don't think it's an imbalanced map when it comes to the sides in total. It's just an imbalanced map when it comes to the middle, but you get the better flanks. I didn't use the flanks. Skull did a good job at stopping me of doing that. And I didn't do quite a good enough job of following that up. Yeah, as you can see, the MR10s, they were not the mistake. They were the really right choice for this. I just could have done all that and firing with them at the same time, keep a push up with the Leo 2A4s on the flank. And then I should have done a good bit more. Skull really playing a good game there with M60s and holding myself off with the M67 National Guards and so on. Like, those M67s are a fantastic tool. They can keep off light vehicles. Like, I can't use my 50 cal vehicles in this matchup on the medium range at all. And I can't really push in with tanks either, especially layer 1s to assist. So my infantry is kind of on its own on the mid range. So that's why I had to stay a bit more defensive in my zone. Because any move further forward would have just ended up in a lot of M67 fire. But yeah, I played around that well enough, I believe, with the M110s. I just didn't play around well enough on the flanks. So yeah, let's have a look in the replay analyzer, because there is a really fantastic new tool, and I want to give you all a chance to figure this out. And that tool is the Wano Warplan replay analyzer. And it's a new tool here, created by the community member Sir Osis of the Liver. If you want to support it, you can support it by buying him a coffee to keep the website online, as it is free to use, but it obviously costs them a bit of money. And yeah, you can analyze your replays by loading up the replay, which we didn't here, and we also did put in the screenshots of the kill feed by time. We made 15 screenshots here of this game. You can just run it with the replay as well. If you give it the screenshots, it will be a bit more accurate, and now it's currently analyzing those. So we will get in here in a second with the further information about the whole situation here. White packs being analyzed. Yeah, and then we will have information about the kill graphs and so on. It would be amazing if Eugen could just add something like this into the game, but having something like this is fantastic. Like, big shout out here to Sources to make this as a browser site. Link down below, obviously, guys. And yeah, if you want to support it and want to give feedback and so on, you can leave that down below as well, what you would want to see on the site. And obviously, yeah, if you want to support it further, go and help it out financially a bit as well. And yeah, here we now have the deployment phase set up here with the units that are on both sides. You get game analysis of income lost, and you can see I was far ahead, and we did kill a good bit more of his, like at the biggest point. We were, it doesn't quite show you here, but like he was at 4.4 thousand kills, we were at 2,000 kills, so we were like nearly 2,000 kills points ahead. But obviously we had a good amount of that in air and artillery, so we couldn't really use that directly on the front line. We should have likely bought a bit of fewer planes and to get around here. Yeah, survivability of the units here being analyzed as well. On the other side, the initiative as well, as we see that the initiative was for the most part with Skull, only a couple of dips there. And yeah, we had the advantage in hard lethality, getting around, killing stuff. And we're equalizing here, especially in the middle, with soft and air lethality. Yeah, we're getting around to be able to kill off a lot of the planes. So yeah, this especially, obviously, in the end, when we pushed in, it was equalizing out again. But we should have been able to push here. Like, this is really showing you where I made the mistakes and not pushing. So really nice, helpful tool. Yeah, live thruster here that was still alive on the end. It wasn't all that big. He had a lot more units, as his units are cheaper. But before that, the situation was more important, and you can also go with a live roster here at any given point. So, for example, here at this point, we already started to be a bit ahead, but it was still relatively equal. But then here at this point, started to really go apart, and we had an equal amount of forces here, but we invested too much into the air, starting to get some key kills here, but just not being able to use it. And at this point, yeah, we didn't push. We still always had fewer units on the battlefield here. Yeah, gives you some timelines here as well. It shows you all of this once more, which units killed what and so on. So yeah, some really nice tools here. And as I said, feedback that you can leave down below of what you would want to see in these analyses as well. Obviously, still limitations with what Eugen provides in the replays and so on. But if you have any feedback here to this, like my feedback, for example, would be really helpful if you could at any moment go over and really see the complete difference here. Like if you go over timeline, shows you the difference in kills, or at least at the current point. But yeah, in general, really great tool. Thanks for watching, everybody. Here we will go over the other 7 games that I at least will get to play, and over the playoff games if I make it there. Obviously, a slightly lower chance now that I lost against Skull, but we will see. Maybe I can still turn that around when we get there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great one.